He has captured on canvas some of America's most recognizable figures, and whether they be in the Smithsonian's National Portrait Gallery, the Baseball Hall of Fame, or even on the cover of Newsmax magazine, you have no doubt seen his works before. Since coming to the U.S. from his native Bulgaria in 2001, Rossin has created more than 350 portraits of presidents, world leaders, CEOs, movie stars, and international sports figures. He was recently awarded a Presidential Merit Medal by the Bulgarian President, Georgi Pervanov. Welcome to Newsmax TV, Rossin.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
They say that great artists are inspired. What inspires Rossin?
The beauty of mind, the beauty of new ideas, of different ideas, the beauty of the soul. So. That being said, I'm always interested and forever will be interested in human nature and the beautiful aspect of human nature.
Now, as an immigrant, you seem to have a real appreciation for American leaders. The Reagan cover that you did, let's take a look at that. Was this taken from an actual photo or from a scene?
There is no such photograph of Reagan. I reviewed hundreds, if not thousands of photographs, and I wasn't necessarily impressed in any of them as far as his soul is concerned, as far as his psyche, which is my interest. Much more than just the physical likeness, I'm interested in one's persona and personality, and to read it like never before. Therefore, for the portrait, I use a number of photographs from different angles, so it is in a way a composite image, but more than everything else, it's my idea of Reagan.
What is it about Reagan's psyche that you tried to capture?
His contagious self-confidence, if I have to put it in one sentence. I mean, he's not just a confident person in what he says and what he believes, but his confidence is something that immediately goes into your veins in his presence. So the idea was the viewer who that stands in front of my portrait, really to get that good sense, that classical American sense of self-confidence and belief.
Now, the Lincoln image, that too has been noteworthy. Your image seems to capture a much more human Lincoln. Tell us about that.
It's all about, again, the complexity of the character in the paintings. And to Lincoln, I could relate with my own drama, with my own disappointments and moments of melancholy and depression, and victorious moments too. So again, like the other portraits, I just wanted to go beyond the legendary image, the well-known silhouette, but rather to get the person right there, and to see how normal, how real he was, and nevertheless enormously glorious in his achievements.
And that's what separates you from other portrait artists.
I hope to believe so.
Well, let's turn to Theodore Roosevelt. You completed that before Lincoln and before Reagan. What is it about TR that got your attention?
I guess the same thing. He was the first of the series, and I was asked to do it, and my biggest challenge was not to repeat what it was done before. And while having lunch with that gentleman that asked me to do Lincoln for the Theodore Roosevelt Association, the idea came to me right there. Roosevelt needed to come to us in the 21st century instead of me trying to reenact and study him back in his time, because he has so many messages. He was such a visionary, such a complex personality that he could tell us a lot right now in this century. So that was it. It was the challenge, basically, to see him up close and personal like never before.
Let's turn to some other personages. Nelson Mandela. The portrait looks absolutely remarkable, as if it is him himself. Have you gotten feedback on this portrait from other world leaders?
I think President Clinton saw prints of my portrait, and he was really impressed. Here in the Newsmax magazine, where he was introduced to my work, I learned that his favorite people of recent history are Mandela and Rabin. So I happen to have those paintings. So as far as world leaders, yes, here you have one. much more than that, I'm interested in the message hidden in the paintings. And as far as Mandela is concerned, he is not only the practically, probably, no, not probably, certainly the greatest human being on the face of earth of our time, but is the message that he holds and he conveys through his gaze to his whole character and presence in the painting.
Now, you mentioned Yitzak Rabin. He's considered a hero by many. Does your portrait reflect his courage?
Again, we go back to the complexity of the character. In his case, you have a soldier and a peacemaker in the same time. You have an extremely intelligent, wise man who also listens, who also knows how to listen. So that's the bottom line of my work, to capture the depth and the complexity of one's character.
Jackie Kennedy, she's an American icon. Your style here is different from the reality style paintings. It looks a bit like 1950s Look magazine, truly a beautiful photograph. What did you want to share when you drew her?
The difficult thing was to see her, like the others, up close and personal, yet to emphasize that almost invisible glass wall that exists between the viewer and her persona, that she remains in the same time distant and iconic. So basically the message in the portrait is, no matter how close you get to me, you're still far away. In other words, she will be and forever will be quintessential icon.
What's next for Rossin in terms of upcoming portraits?
I feel ready to attack Jefferson, and I say really attack because that's a battle. That's a challenge. Every portrait is a challenge, but Jefferson is something else. It's so complex, controversial in a way, and much bigger than life than anybody else. So Jefferson is coming next.
Rossin, you also do personal portraits. So if folks want to learn more about your work, where should they go?
Rossin Fine Art, www.rossinfineart.com. That's my website. They're welcome to take a look at my collection.
Thank you so much for being here. It was such a pleasure having you here on Newsmax TV. I'm such a fan of this portrait that we featured on our commemorative issue for Ronald Reagan. So thanks so much for being here and for all of your work.
My pleasure.